This is all you need to install this RealTruck BakFlip MX4 TS cover on your truck. This is a Chevy 2500. What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Well, we are starting a new truck build. I will tell you why we picked the cover we did, and why we are putting a cover on our truck to begin with, and what this whole new build's all about. All right, well, I wanted to get the Diamondback switchback, or maybe even the SE or the HD cover. That's the one I really wanted. But what I have in my brain rolling around in there, those covers were not going to work for what I want to do. So I ended up going with the BakFlip from RealTruck. The RealTruck BakFlip. It's the MX4 TS. TS stands for T-slot. So I'm going to have T-slot going down both sides of the tonneau cover to add something later on, and I'll tell you what that is at the end of this video and what my next steps are on this build. So this is the new Gen 3 setup. So it's the third generation of this actual cover. So there's supposed to be improvements on it. I've never owned these covers before. I've always had like a hard backflip from other people, or even soft backflips. But it's packaged very well. It has rails that go down the side, and it has the finish like a spray and bed liner. You can see they got the boxes labeled hardware. You got your two rails labeled, driver's side, passenger side. It's going to have drain tubes that we put in for it, but it's not too heavy and it's not too light, which is good. You know, it's a decent hard cover that's going to give us locking capabilities for our kayak gear. And the reason why I'm going back to the tonneau cover is I did get rid of my enclosed trailer after I said I wasn't going to get rid of it to haul my kayak. I'm going to be purchasing a new kayak trailer from a new manufacturer that's not out yet, so I can't talk about it, because the UMAX, the new Canoe UMAX, is just getting to be too heavy for me to carry around all the time with the wheels. So I want to go back to wet launching. So I'm going to go back to a kayak trailer. So I figured even with the deck drawers, if I put those back in here later, I will have a cover to be able to put all my gear underneath, put luggage underneath on family trips. And with the T-slot, it gives me the ability to add rails, which I'm going to do, which will be the next step of this build in another video. So if you were interested in that, follow along with us, subscribe to the channel. I don't usually ask it that much, but if you want to see what I'm going to do, and I can add rails to this, or even a full ladder rack. We're not going to do that though. We're going to add rails to this, and I'm going to mount something on those rails, which is a pretty cool product out there that we have as well. That's going to be part of our whole build process, and it's I like it, but you know, it may not be for everybody. But stay tuned for that. That'll be the third video of this build. But I can carry all my gear back in the kayak, you know, all my kayak gear underneath the cover. It's going to be locked up, and have the ability to mount things to that T-slot. So if I do change my mind later on and want to go back to a full ladder rack, I can, etc. It's hard to find those covers that have the T-slot in them that are durable. This has a 5-year warranty. The Diamondback itself, I can mount racks to it, but I'll tell you why I didn't go the Diamondback route towards the end of this video when I do a full walkthrough of the cover after we install it. So it's pretty self-explanatory. This little part here, that's a cover for your drain tube, and the T-slot is here on the outside. So obviously this is the passenger side. Your drain goes up front, which you can take the little knockouts that you have in your bed and take out the little like little bushings that go up front here in the beds, and you can just drill a hole in it or take it out and put that drain tube outside of it. We're probably just going to put it underneath our little bit of last fit liner in our bed, but we also have a spray and bed liner. I'll probably just dump these tubes underneath that liner, because they'll just drain out underneath the liner itself and go outside the vehicle. I probably won't make any holes in the front bulkhead at all in those little packages, those little seals that they put up front. So this is the driver's side. We're going to get these drain tubes on. We're going to get these rails mounted. Now, the most important thing with these rails is that the hardware that comes with it is that you want to make sure that those cleats sit in these slots properly, because you want these rails to sit nice and level on your bed. So you got your bulkhead seal, which goes across the top. We have the bed liner. So I took this through a car wash. It's nice and clean. I'm going to install this on the front up top here on the bulkhead as a seal. You got your clamping hardware. These are the padding for the cover itself, because that actually can fold all the way up and rest against your back of your truck there, so you can prop it up with the rods. You got your drain tubes, you got your hardware that mounts in the front that holds these the bed cover on later. for the rails, and then you have spare parts. And then you get your clips you got to put in that you can clip to, when you fold this cover up, it can actually, you can transport it with it open. So let's get this bulkhead seal installed. It's always hard getting that first initial start of this. So we want to mount this seal towards the front of your bulkhead. And it should stick enough to the spray and bed liner. If not, I could always change it out later if I need a better seal on it or a different seal. If you have just your, bare paint, it'll stick better. That's why I want to make sure this is clean. That's why I went to the car wash. And all tonneau covers, no matter what you do, they never seal 100%. So you always get a little bit of water inside, like through a car wash, or if you get like a really hard driven rain. So anything you don't want to get wet, just make sure you put inside of like a, a little bin or something, a little plastic bin. All my luggage pretty much that I use is all pretty much a waterproof bag anyway, so don't make a difference for my luggage. And we'll just trim a little bit off this at the end. But I've had multiple covers in the past, and sometimes you'll get that little bit of air gap right up here that you can see. So you can always add a little bit of seal if you really want to keep it 100% waterproof. But you know how covers are; they're not really made to be 100% waterproof. So it comes with 6 clamps. So you want to just do 3 evenly down each side where you can fit. And you can see right here, there's these lips. So you want to make sure that it's sitting in that second lip there, and that this piece is snapped up inside the actual rail itself. You can see it'll just kind of clip in and just kind of pushes in and sits right and kind of like snaps in like that. So we got to set ours back a little bit because with the Chevy, you really can't get a clamp up front here. You have to start it like back here. So we'll just see where that's going to start our first clamp, and then we'll position it where we think it's going to be right. You can slide them around. I'll probably start the first one right there. We're going to get the rest of these clamps onto the thing and put the drain tube in real quick. The drain tube just goes on, slides right onto this little fitting. It's like a barb fitting, and these tubes will drain down. Like I said, I'm going to stick them underneath down low here. You can see behind my seal right here. I'm going to tuck it behind our liner to sit there, and then that water will drain out underneath the liner and just kind of go outside the back of the truck or right here in the front. So you can see these clamps here will just, when they go in, they kind of like snap in and hold. If I got this sitting right. So this kind of goes in this little slot here, and there's like an upper little channel there. Just push it in and you'll see it kind of clip right in right there. All right, so you want to make sure that the rails all push all the way up to the front. We'll get this to sit right underneath here, but make sure it's nice and tight. And as you tighten these down, make sure you keep this track pushed all the way up to the front of your bulkhead on your vehicle. And you need a 1/2 inch socket. I see people do these with like an impact gun and stuff. I prefer to do a cover. All right, sorry about that. I was rudely interrupted by the phone. As you get these clamps on there, see how there's this little tooth there? You got 1, you got 2. Make sure it's sitting up in that second one there, if that's where it needs to be for your particular model. And it kind of keeps it nice and straight, which it looks like I got enough room there. So it's always seated up inside of my rail. So you got that second notch right there in that actual clamp itself. So we're gonna put one there, we'll put one in the middle and one in the back. And we're gonna get this one as far up as close as we can before this little build out here by Chevy. And like I was saying before I got interrupted, is that I'm doing this with a 1/2 inch ratchet. I would never use a impact gun on this. You can, but you want to make sure that you don't tighten it down too much, because you will snap the brackets itself or over tighten them or put stress on them. And these just have to be snugged. You don't have to go super tight with these. I mean, you want them snug, but you don't want to over tighten them because they will break. So just doing them by hand. And one thing I would do too is after it's on your truck for a little bit, you know, maybe like a week, couple days, 3 days, go back and just check them, make sure they're staying snug, because you know things are going to shift, seals are going to compress, and you just want to make sure they stay snug. And you just want to periodically check them too as well to make sure that that they're staying tight and your cover doesn't go flying off or get loose or get, you know, water penetration, etc. Second one back here, we're going to stick as far as back as we can. I got these, the one here in the back and the one here in the front up in that second notch, but this one here in the middle it was actually more square to keep it in the bottom notch. I don't know the reasoning behind that. Maybe something to do with the plastic, but I got these sitting nice and straight, perpendicular to my sidewall of my truck inside my bed. So I feel pretty comfortable with those. Seems like the cover, the rail itself is sitting nice and flush along the bed rail here, and everything seems nice and square. So we're gonna put the other one on the other side and we'll get this cover installed. And like I was saying before, I'm just gonna tuck the drain tubes behind this liner down here like so. Sometimes you'll have in your truck, you see this like little plastic cap here. Sometimes you have them down in here. So we're just gonna tuck it behind the cover, let it drain underneath the liner itself. We're just gonna tuck them here in the corners. Probably if I did have those little knockouts at the bottom of this truck, I would probably run them out through those holes, but we're just gonna tuck them behind there. They're out of the way. So we're gonna put the cover on the bed of the truck. We're gonna get this front flap exposed, like your initial flap up front here, which is this little tiny piece right here. You got some tape on both sides that protects the holes. You can see they drill through, and you got some aluminum on there. This is aluminum panels. So we're going to take those pieces of tape off for the clips that hold your cover closed that we're going to screw on later. And these little clips that go in the front bulkhead go up from underneath. Flip this out, get some of the aluminum off here, and we're going to lay this up on top of the truck and start getting in position where it needs to be. You want to make sure it's squared up with your bulkhead, and also here in the back of the tailgate. So we're going to shut this tailgate now. We'll position everything around, and we'll tighten up the front knobs. All right, we got everything squared up. It didn't take us that long. My OCD, I measure things with a tape measure. So now we're going to release the cable. We're going to gently fold this back. Underneath here, you got this track piece right here. Your carriage bolt is going to slide in from your mount, and then you're going to slide it over to the end and lock it underneath your rail of your vehicle, the rail of the cover. So I'm going to put the camera down and tighten this up real quick because I can't hold the camera and do it one-handed. So you can see how that sits in there. Got that little notch that fits underneath this piece. Just snug them up with your hand, not too tight. And we'll do the other side. So 2 steps left. We have to put the buckles on, and we got to put the foam pads on. So as you put this up and you do your prop rods against the back of your truck, and you can go down the road like this, you want to make sure that these foam pads are against where it hits your truck. So we want to put one here on the end. Put one on this end. You need to have nails to do this, so I'm using a knife to get it started. And we'll put one right here in the middle. So the last step is putting the clips on top of the cover that you put your buckle into to hold this open when you're driving down the road. So to do that, they give you these little inserts you stick from underneath, and it's got threads in it. Thread that through the hole. You're going to put your sealant on the back of this, and then screw it in from the top. So we're going to go underneath, put these inserts in, and then we'll show you the rest. You just want to stick your adhesive back on the clip. Make sure your square side's facing towards the back and around towards the front here. Now we're going to screw this down to the top of the cover. So there we go. Got a little bit of dirt and dust on the seal. But you can see how nice this cover looks. Has a nice finish to it. And here's the T-slot right here where I'm able to mount a ladder rack, crossover bars, etc. Gives you a nice flush look to it. Over time, heat's going to hit this. This will kind of seal a little bit better, push down a little bit, and the seals will break in. And then you have your clips to hold this back. So I'll show you how this works. So you got your cable, one on each side. You can grab it from either side, pull it down, flip it up, flip it over again. You have another positive lock here. Once again, pull the cable, fold it over. And at this point, you can either leave it right here, so you have access to your bed. Take the supply clips, flip them in, snug them up a little bit, and now this holds it in place and gives you quite a bit of your bed space if you have to haul something tall like a refrigerator, washer, dryer. And if you need full access, take your clips off, and you can fold this up. Once again, you have a positive lock. Fold it up against your bed, and then you got these prop rods here, which you take off, loosen this clamp up, slide it down. On top of that, tighten this up for your prop rod. Same thing on the other side. Slide down, tighten it up, and now you have full access, minus like 6 inches towards the front there, of your whole bed. And this is a 6'9", 6'10" bed. It's not the full 8-foot bed. They make these for an 8-foot bed too. So you have full access to your bed, and then also security at the same time. All right guys, very simple install. One person can do this. You have a nice flush look here, low profile. Now the reason why I went with this cover over the Diamondback cover is for two reasons. A, the T-slot, which gives me the ability to mount accessories to this without actually drilling into the cover itself. Now with the Diamondback, I'd have to drill into the cover. This, I can put accessories on, take them off, no holes in the cover. So if I ever change how I do something or don't want to have the accessory on there anymore, I can just remove it without actually like making holes in the cover and having to like fill those holes back up with the screws. So it's easy on, easy off with that T-slot. Another reason is I pick up a lot of things for work. So it's a lot of times I have to pick up conduit, longer items. I could put this open, flip it open. Now I can put conduit come out of the back of the bed. Now, don't do this because I'm doing it, but you know, there's no way to have this cover flip down. So positive locks here. So what I may do is add additional clips to this to hold this down here in the middle. So that's what I'm going to probably do. This way I could flip this cover open, but I'm going to do it locally. So I'm not going to be driving on the highway, but I could put some clips midway on this, have this cover open, put long items in it, and still have my bars that I'm going to be doing later on going across the front without actually having to remove them. You know, the Diamondback one, there was really no positive lock midway through like this. Even if you do the bifold style, you know, it just flips up. There's no way to kind of have it like half open like this and be able to put stuff in it. So like I said, I'm going to add clips to this in midway. It's not recommended because they don't tell you you can do that, but I'm going to add some more clips like that you have in the front midway like this to hold this open like this. It's going to be driving around town no faster than 40 miles per hour. I can put conduit in here and leave this cover on, but I have to take like the back part of the Diamondback off to do this or anything else like that. That's why I went this route. T-slots, and be able to open this up midway, have that positive lock in the middle, put additional clips on this. I'm going to maybe reach out to them, see if I can get some more clips like they have up front here, or I'll just do my own little strap here in the middle, or maybe even just one clip in the middle to hold it down, just as I locally go around town. Now, I wouldn't do this on the highway, and I wouldn't do this at all because I'm telling you to do this, or what I'm going to be doing, but that's the reason why I want this route. Make a quick delivery to the guys, and have everything across the front like the way I want it. So overall, I'm very happy with the cover. The cover with tax to where I live, the cover cost me $1,500. It's free shipping. I think the cover itself is like $1,300 or 13 and change from RealTruck. I'll leave a link in the description to this particular model. Then you can pick, you know, whatever truck you have and whatever bed length you have. I will also take this through a car wash in a couple videos down the line here, show how much water gets penetrated into it underneath the cover. I'm expecting a little bit of water, nothing crazy. And I'll also do a review on it in about 6 months to see how it does with the UV rays, especially down here in South Carolina. And I'll do another review after a year and let you know how it is. So that's it, guys. Very easy install. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments. I will keep you guys updated on this, but stay tuned for what else I'm going to be adding to this cover. I'm going to be adding 2 more items to this cover: crossbars and something on top of those crossbars, which I think is pretty cool, very interesting. I think you guys will appreciate what I'm putting on there, and it may give you guys a great idea too as well to do the same setup as me. So as always, guys, be safe on the water. I'll catch you on the water, and stay tuned. 2 more parts to this build. Who knows, and I may add something else to the T-Track later on, but that's it, guys. I'll see you guys soon.